The purpose of segregation was because they didn't consider us human, and they didn't think that subhumans or animals should have the same rights or access as actual people. Why in 2025 would you consider re-implementing an evil concept like that?
You do know about the Civil Rights Act of 1964, right? No, I don't want to hear any of that. It's always excuses with Trump. We know what he really wanted here. He wanted segregation.
And the last thing that I want to do is to be a black voice that they can use as a reference to defend why they're doing it and say, well, hey, they're cool with it. They're excited for it. So let's just go ahead and do it. We know we joking, but do they know we're joking? I don't think so. I don't.
So yeah, that's funny to sort of joke about, but segregation is not funny. It was more than just entertainment and which restaurant you could use and which water fountain you could use and whether or not you were allowed to use the public pool.
This whole rollback of segregation law thing got me cracking the fuck up, because imagine I'm drinking water and a bitch come up to me and say, hey, you can't drink out of that water fountain. That water fountain is not for colors.
Okay, I know we're all kind of laughing about this idea of segregation coming back and white people are jumping ship left and right. Like, please let me be on the side of Beyonce and Jasmine Crockett and Barack Obama. I don't want to have nothing to do with Carrie Underwood and Kid Rock, right? Leave me out of it. So yeah, that's funny to sort of joke about, but segregation is not funny. It was more than just entertainment and which restaurant you could use and which water fountain you could use and whether or not you were allowed to use the public pool. Like, it affected so many other systemic things: education, access to property ownership, banking. Like, it was really deeply bad. I'll do one of my presentations on Jim Crow and the segregated South, but I got so many requests to do a video on the Tulsa Massacre, and when I did, it got about 600 views. So clearly the algorithm is working against me on this one. I had millions of views on my Kendrick Lamar 40 Acres and a Mule video, and then when I did Tulsa, it got deeply suppressed. So I have to think, use my little mind and find a way out of that algorithmic hole and find a way for us to talk about what actually happened during the Jim Crow era, and particularly the South of the United States, but the North too, frankly. We should also talk about the Loving Supreme Court case, which made interracial marriage legal. So if there's interest in a historical presentation on Jim Crow, let me know. I'll spend the time on it, but, being suppressed by talking about controversial and difficult things like the Tulsa Massacre is sort of demoralizing.
Pardon me because I'm lost. Maybe I'm missing something. Why am I seeing people on this app promoting segregation? And it'd be one thing if it was like one video. No, I'm seeing multiple videos and lives of people, my people, black people, talking about bring back segregation. What on God's green earth are y'all talking about? This is how I know y'all don't think. Do y'all know what the purpose of segregation was? Why would you ever advocate for it to come back? On this app talking about, yeah, we should stick with our own people and have our own stuff, and they should stick with their own people. Is that really all y'all think it was? The purpose of segregation was because they didn't consider us human, and they didn't think that subhumans or animals should have the same rights or access as actual people. Why in 2025 would you consider re-implementing an evil concept like that? Especially as a black person, why would you think about bringing back a concept that was originally conceptualized against you and your people? Segregation always has been and always will be an evil concept meant to separate and divide. Why y'all would consider bringing something like that back, I don't know, but it baffles me. I find it very wild that y'all would root for such a vile idea and that y'all would trivialize everything that our past people went through to get rid of that. But y'all on here talking about, yeah, bring it back. How about we turn to God and learn to love others? Y'all talking about bring back segregation. Why are we moving backward? Y'all have a blessed one. Adios.
Hey man, why do you look so down? Haven't you heard the Trump administration brought back segregation? Wait, what are you talking about? Segregation is legal now. Well, I'm not making this up. They took it out of the federal contracts. Well, hold on a second. You do know about the Civil Rights Act of 1964, right? No, I don't want to hear any of that. It's always excuses with Trump. We know what he really wanted here. He wanted segregation. But that law literally still stands, and segregation was made illegal. So what are you worried about? So typical. I knew MAGA would go to these lengths. I mean, from what I understand, they were just cutting out redundant language that wasn't needed to reduce the contract size. Whatever with your facts. But you know what? You know how I feel? I feel mad about this. You literally still think there's segregation and you're going to tell people that? Don't look at me like that. All you do is make excuses. I know what Trump really wants to do. He's a bad orange man. I'm not happy about it. Hey man, it's gonna be okay. I'm just giving you facts. Don't give me any of that. I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm gonna snap. I'm gonna lose it. I can't take it anymore. Everything's gonna be all right. It's not gonna be all right. Look what you've done. Hey, just relax. No need to do that. It's okay. Just chill, man. Chill. I can't chill. I'm gonna lose it. Ah!
You know, black people. One thing about us and two things for certain, we gonna turn any and everything into a joke, even to our detriment. And yes, I am regarding us joking about segregation. Now, I gotta admit and be real, when I first learned about them making segregation legal again, I made my own video, get my own jokes off. I did. I said they should do it because I look forward to seeing the white folks squirm and squeal when they can't get into our functions with all the seasoning and all the rhythm. However, I have since taken said video down because the more I thought about it and the more I saw other black creators making light of the situation, the more it began to dawn on me, we are firing off these jokes around mixed company, okay? And the last thing that I want to do is to be a black voice that they can use as a reference to defend why they're doing it and say, well, hey, they're cool with it. They're excited for it. So let's just go ahead and do it. I do not want to be a black voice that white people can use to validate what they about to do to us. We know we joking, but do they know we're joking? I don't think so. I don't. Not to mention, a lot of the jokes and skits I've been seeing are black people using the white power dynamics they used against us during that time back on white people, aka you're not welcome in our town type of vibes. And while I get the humor in it, I need for us to understand that will never be a reality in a white supremacist society, okay? The fantasy of black people being left alone by white folks, it is just that, a fantasy, okay? Separate but equal will never be a real tangible thing in this society. And I hate to burst the bubbles and to stop the laughter, but we do need to be fucking for real. We do. Because while yes, back then our community was more tightly knit, quote unquote, a lot of the things that we complain about within our community now, we were complaining about back then and was an issue as well back then. So us trying to frame segregation as the whiz, can you feel a brand new day? Don't get me wrong. I love us for real, but I also want for us to be for real. You know, all I'm saying is if you want to get the jokes off in the group chat because we are in mixed company. Yeah.
Hey, Trump just legalized segregation again.
Nope.
Segregation was banned and he just legalized it within the federal government.
Not true.
Like dead ass, like black water fountains, white water fountains were just legalized.
The farthest thing from the truth you could possibly even say.
MAGA, defend this. I know you will.
Can't defend it because everything you said was a lie. It was fake. Not true at all. Because all of that is protected under the Civil Rights Act. It is illegal. 100% illegal across the entirety of the United States, including the federal government, which cannot change with an executive order or a general service memo, which is what this was. The only thing this general service memo did was change the requirements of federal contractors to not have to report that they are abiding by the law. It was completely redundant, pointless, and a waste of time and paperwork. Nothing more, nothing less. Because again, by law, they cannot do any of that. Quit lying to people.
I don't
don't think these people understand that this isn't going to work the way that it worked during Jim Crow. We are in a social and economic climate where there's a good amount of people from different races that are literally sick of America and its BS. There also is a few successful boycotts that are going on right now that are showing these people we are not playing. I more specifically want to talk about the black dollar and the black social capital, and the fact that if these businesses and contractors choose to exercise their right to segregate, that's not only going to make a dent in their business, but the whole economy in general. A lot of people underestimate the black dollar and how much we spend, whether it be good or bad, at these specific companies, and how much we actually bring in revenue to these people. And when it comes to social capital, black people are usually the ones behind the popularization of these brands. If we're not the ones that are making it or inspiring it, we are literally the ones that's giving the businesses or whatever trends the traction that it needs. It's not cool or wanted until black people say it's cool and they want it. And it's not black people who should be scared, it should be the culture vultures, because where are you gonna get your inspiration from now, Bookie Butt? Like, y'all remember on TikTok a few years ago when the black dancers decided that they weren't going to come up to any more dances because y'all could not credit them, and then there hasn't been a good dance trend on here since? Yeah, that's exactly what's about to happen to your business. And contrary to whatever people believe, America needs the black dollar and black creativity. They know the power that we hold. That's why when we did have predominantly black towns back in the day, like Oscarville, which is better known as Lake Lanier now, and then as well as in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the massacre that occurred there, that's why they came into our towns and did what they did, because they know that by ourselves, we can create a certain level of economic and social capital that they couldn't even dream of, despite what happened to us. All in all, I vote in favor. Just because when I pull up to your establishment or I look on your Google profile, all I need to see is that whites only sign and I'm good. I ain't even gotta waste my time nor my money coming up in here knowing it's finna be some tomfoolery, okay? Clock it.
If you're confused about what's going on with Trump's executive order on segregation, let me explain. Although Trump did sign an executive order to remove a prior ban on segregation, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is still in place, which means it is still illegal to segregate a protected class. However, the reason this is such a huge deal is because the federal government is in charge of enforcing the Civil Rights Act and investigating civil rights violations. By Trump signing this executive order, he is making it loud and clear that the federal government does not intend to do their part in enforcement or investigation. Effectively, what he's done is made it known to businesses that they don't need to abide by the Civil Rights Act because the government won't enforce it. Several federal agencies, like the Department of Homeland Security and the National Institute of Health, have already begun issuing notices to employees advising them not to consider the prior ban on segregation going forward. While this is only one of the countless attacks on DEI that Trump has made, the potential impacts of this order are vast and frightening, especially considering the history our country has with segregation.